People need an income that's guaranteed to them.
If you lose money to taxes, you're never getting that money back.
You need to get serious about adding some lower risk.
Greed. I don't like greed.
The thing to be afraid of, honestly, is the thing that we're not thinking of, the black swan event.
There's a tsunami coming. Bye.
Welcome to Retirement Coffee Talk with Charisse Rivers.
Just coffee talk.
There's a lot of noise, a lot of chatter. Who do you listen to? Who do you not listen to? You have to stay focused.
A fun and informative look at the issues of wealth, retirement, and protecting your life savings.
These advisors out there that were trained to sell, and have all these fees. They don't want to talk about this product, so they make less money.
And now, Retirement Coffee Talk with Charisse Rivers.
Welcome once again to Retirement Coffee Talk with Charisse Rivers at Zinnia Wealth. Online, zinniawealth.com. As always, ZINNIA wealth.com. It is our first show of the new year. Charisse, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. And boy, have I already stuck to my New Year's resolution.
Really?
It's only a few days.
Actually, there's a day, I think it's January 13th or something like that, which is National Break Your Resolution Day, because by the middle of January, we were all toast anyway on these things.
Well, listen, if you, I heard it was like the 17th.
Oh, okay.
So whether it's the 13th or 17th where we break our New Year's resolutions, try to hang in there because if it's dieting or if it's saving money, it's meditating, it's reading the Bible or whatever it is, your goal, you've got to push it.
Okay.
Push it all the way to January 30th because we're having the Ocala Leadership Conference is bringing in John Maxwell locally, Ryan Leake, John Gordon, and it's a day with these guys live at Meadowbrook, and it's going to get you so kick-started for the year, even though it's at the end of January 30th, for the next month. So if you hold on long enough, you might be able to keep these New Year resolutions all the way to the end of February. That would be amazing.
There you go. And we have a website for that, which is OcalaLeadershipConference.com. You can get your tickets there. And I think you can still put the code in, can't you, Charisse, to get a discount on your ticket?
I'm not sure. I think that code was only till the end of December, so it's full price, but you never know. We'll see what the bosses say. I am one of the bosses, but we're still talking about it. But we're filling up, so we were just doing regular ticket prices at this point, but that might change next week.
All right, well, check it out, OcalaLeadershipConference.com, and that event is coming up on the 29th. Okay, well, let's get into it here. We're going to do some special stuff today. We're going to do a little bit of a look back and a look forward as we talk about 2025 and 2026, and then we have a fun interview coming up in the second half of the show today. We're going to talk to Karen and Shannon Cobbs from Grandview Clydesdales, and what a wonderful event and wonderful operation that they have in our area. We just want to kind of point some of that stuff off. But in the meantime, here we go, Charisse, a brand new year. I remember when you and I were doing this show last year, and we were saying, okay, there was a second year in a row of double-digit returns. We were wondering if we were going to get a third year of double-digit returns, and we did. That has happened now 11 times in 100 years. So let's ask the same question. How many times has the market gone up? 4 years in a row. And folks, it's not so good. 4 times in 100 years have we strung 4 good years like this together.
Never, right?
Yeah, not very much. And so there was a survey out there among people who put money into the market, and they say 75% of them are cutting back on their risk of the stock market because they just don't think we can string 4 good years in a row together.
Double digit, right?
Right. So, Charisse, talk to me. Are people coming in right now kind of saying that same thing? This makes me nervous, Charisse. Or is it full speed ahead? What are you hearing?
I will say 75% of the people every year, they always get nervous in the new year because there's so much change every year. Yeah. And we have a lot of change happening right now specifically. So yeah, people are a little bit nervous. So our portfolios are built out to help with those nerves, right? If you were nervous last year, we had already built out the portfolio for this year, right? Because we can bob and weave on how conservative we want certain portfolios and how much risk we want to take. It takes, one button and it's a done deal. But I think for a lot of our clients, so these are the new people we haven't met yet, they get very nervous. But our clients who are with us, they're not as nervous because we do active management. So if we're in February or March and markets start to tip and there's all these red alerts, we've already moved some of our portfolio to cash equivalents, or short-term bonds, just to mitigate some of that risk, not knowing what's on the other side of it, just in case we are coming into a crash landing mode. And then, in a couple weeks from that point, if we're like, okay, false alarm, then we go back in. So people know we're moving money around in these active managed portfolios.
There's only so many things you can control in this.
Right.
I mean, you may buy in exactly, you may say tariffs are a great idea. I love what the president is doing, and you're full speed ahead. Boy, I love this guy. We're going to get a new head of the Fed and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? Global events. Now we're talking, Ukraine and Israel and Venezuela and China and Taiwan and all these.
Yeah.
We can't control that stuff.
Geopolitical risk.
Yes.
There's so many things, and those do rock the boat.
Yeah.
Every time. And, I personally think we're due for a correction, right? And what is a correction? To me, it's like 10% drop, but, you can go down for 2 months at a 10% drop, and then it could take 8 months to get back to even. But if we do a 15% drop in the stock market, like we've had not too long ago, it can take 12 to 18 months to get back to even. So our voice in all this is when the markets go down 10 and 15%, and then it takes 8 to maybe 15 months to get back to even. If you're somebody who's pulling a check out of those accounts every month and is not sitting in cash, you're selling stock at a loss. And the conventional financial wisdom said, no, that's a big no. That's a cardinal sin. So you have to shift gears where you're pulling money from. And I'll just tell you, I have a very risky client. And he's like, Charisse, I want to make sure I got this income ready for this next 12 months. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to sell these stocks and put it into cash and something that's going to make like 4.3% over the next 12 months. He's like, I got to put that much in cash. I said, if there is a market downturn, I tell him every time 10 or 15%, where are we going to pull it from? And he's like, well, we just pull it from the stock. I'm like, you're against selling stock, number one. You don't even like raising cash. Now you're telling me you're going to sell cash when the market goes down 10 or 15% if that were to happen over the next 12 months? He went, oh. He's like, dang it. He's like, I'm always going to listen to you, and it makes sense because I'm not thinking about that, but I just can't stand a 75 grand in cash for a year. But I'm like, listen, not all your money has to be making 10, 15, 20%. It's okay for some of your money to make 4, 5%. And he went, okay, you're right. And it's hard to, when you're so used to stock market risk, he is one of my riskier clients too. So most clients don't come in and say, give me the riskiest thing you got. I want to make a 20% return every year if you can. They're like, all right, I'm good with that 4 to 6, maybe 5 to 7 on some monies. Some monies, maybe if I can have those grand old long-term, I hope, stocks built into the portfolio. We do those. We just know we don't touch those for 10 years.
You're listening to Retirement Coffee Talk with Charisse Rivers of Zinnia Wealth, our first show of the new year, 2026. Happy New Year to you. And just kind of looking, back a little bit and forward a little bit. And one of the things that you're going to be encountering over the next couple of weeks is you start to put together your tax stuff and you get ready to put your taxes together. And, by the end of the month, you'll get your 1099s and all that kind of thing. And one of the things that you're going to see this year that will change, and it changes every year, is how much you can put in a 401k, how much you can put in an IRA. So I'm going to zip through these numbers real fast. If you're under 50, you can put $24,500. Over 50, $32,500. And then they've added this super catch-up between the ages of 60 and 63. You can put a total of $35,750 in your 401k. So that's great. The IRA contributions went up $500. But here's the new one that I think is going to be a real game changer. And it came in the big, beautiful bill. The new deduction for people 65 and older. If you're married, each of you are going to get $6,000 of a deduction in your taxes this year. So, Charisse, when you look at that, I think that's a big deal. For somebody who every year has to write a check for $1,000 or $2,000 to the IRS, or, somebody who's getting taxed in their Social Security right now, is this going to be a big difference maker? Do you see it?
Yeah, it's like a kid going into a candy shop.
Okay.
People are going to be like, whoa, I mean, I get an extra $12,000 in write-off if you're married filing jointly and you're 65 and older and you're both collecting Social Security and your income's not over $150,000. Yes. So there is income threshold. You can't make over $150,000 a year. There is an age. You have to be at least 65, and you have to be collecting Social Security to get $6,000 a piece, right? So there's those ramifications. But we're talking to our clients about, hey, we're going to be able to take advantage of this $6,000 to $12,000. Why don't we roll over a little bit more money from our IRAs to a Roth IRA?
Okay.
And just take full advantage of this, because in 2028 it's supposed to go away unless they keep it, but it's likely to go away. So we got a good couple of years here to really knock our socks off and roll IRA money to a Roth. And I'm going to tell you, there's going to be people out there that won't use all that write-off and won't even consider taking some of the IRA and moving over to a Roth, because they just don't know that they can and move that IRA over to a Roth without paying any taxes because of this extra credit you get in your deductions. So I just want to implore everybody that this is why having a financial advocate in your world to help you understand these tax changes as they're hitting us, because you want to take advantage of it. If you wake up in 2027 and say, oh man, I just heard about this. This is great. But then you miss 2026. I mean, that's not very prudent. So, and I don't expect people to know everything every year. People are enjoying retirement, but this is why people listen to the show. This is why people have a financial advisor, and then they come in and then we help them. So all of our clients are going to be super ecstatic, because a lot of them are already rolling IRAs over to Roth because they want tax-free income in the future, or they want to pay less taxes, or they just want their beneficiaries and heirs to have maybe a tax-free legacy. So all different reasons and rhymes, but let's make sure this money that you're getting is going to be applied and is being used and it's not wasted.
Well, one point that I do want to bring up, because we have, 13, 14 years worth of doing this show. And last year, what were we talking about? Hey, we've got a new president coming in. He wants to do tariffs. And everybody was screaming about tariffs, saying they're going to be inflationary and they're going to cause a recession and all. You know what? A lot of that didn't happen. We didn't get the big R word in 2025. Right. The tariffs didn't turn out to be the inflation-making monster that we thought they would be. So the headlines from some of the economists were wrong. And so some, yeah. I mean, there's still inflation, and there are still prices, and some things are still very high and going up. I grant you that. That's absolutely true. But if you start reading this stuff about, oh, we're headed for a down year, or, oh, we're headed for, happy days are here again, you gotta. It's not about the headlines, folks. It's about your headlines. Yes, and that's where you come in, Charisse.
And I have to remind people, it's about your personal economy. It's just not the economy globally. It's your personal economy, because you can control that. You cannot control what's going out, on TV and with the geopolitical risk and war or other countries. We can't control that. But I know how to control your household, the four walls and the roof that you need to protect each and every day. And if we have a plan dialed in, no matter what kind of economy is coming our way, and then we can build this income plan and maybe even a tax plan for you and show you, if you do these steps, and we pour a lot of time into our plans and this is what the outlook is going to be in 15, 20, and 30 years based on a very pessimistic rate of return. People love peace of mind, Randy, and so many people enter retirement and they don't even know where their next paycheck's going to come from. So then they spend less money. But those people who come in to see us at Zinnia and our advisors, they know the plan. They end up spending more money than they ever intended. We keep fees down. We're very transparent. And we're doing what we say that we're doing. And we do it each and every day. And people just want confidence. They want to be able to sleep at night. They don't want to be pacing up and down the hallway saying woulda, coulda, shoulda. And too many people enter retirement doing that. They turn in those keys to their employer, collect their last paycheck, and like, I'm going to try this on my own. And then there's the Medicare questions, and there's Social Security questions, and then there's elder planning questions. And should I get a will or a trust, Charisse? And everybody's going to be different. And what kind of trust should I get? And I just don't understand that the people out there, there's a big chunk of people that enter retirement that don't sit down with anyone. I'm talking about what an occupational hazard in retirement.
Yeah, there's things that you've been good at your whole life. Are you good at making sure you have enough money when you don't have a job? And that's really what this is. It is a 25-year vacation in many instances. And to build the income that you need, to have the tax plan that you need, to have the legacy plan that you need, it's all under the retirement planning umbrella. And Charisse would love to have that conversation. And if you've got it all together, we've talked about that in the past. If you have a financial advisor and they're doing a great job, we're going to say, congratulations, shake your hand, go for it. But if there's holes there, if there's boxes you haven't checked off yet, you need to know about them. And
that's my job.
Yep.
I will find holes.
Let's figure that out. Here's the number. Here's the website. And let's get a date on a calendar really soon. 833-368-3680. 833-368-3680 or online, ZinniaWealth.com, ZINNIA Wealth.com. There's a gold box. It says complimentary retirement consultation. Big word for let's have a meeting, a free meeting, and let's sit down and talk about your retirement. 833-368-3680. All right, so in an average year in the United States, about 1.3 million people retire. After COVID, we talked about this a lot. Lots of people retired. It went up to 3.6 million. And in the last 2 years, the number has topped 4 million people.
It's amazing.
Retiring every year. And they figure this is just going to keep going.
Collecting Social Security.
Yeah, at least for a little while. But here's what I want to talk about, Charisse. Whenever there's a hurricane, and we all know about that, and then there's damage, and then your roof is blown off, or there's a big hole in it, or, there's all this damage, and then people come out and say, yeah, I'll fix your roof. We're just going to need a deposit of $8,000. And then you give them that money, and they're gone. There's bad actors out there, people who want to sell gas for $10 a gallon and sell a bottle of water for $10. There's
or a car getting fixed.
There's that.
And then there's like, you need this and that and fixed, and you don't really know, and you get it done when sometimes you only need half of that stuff fixed. I actually caught somebody locally.
I got to believe that with this many people retiring and this many people with all this money, they've saved their whole lives, there's going to be bad actors that are going to enter this arena.
That's an understatement.
Okay, so Charisse, if somebody sits down in front of one of these bad actors, how would they know? What would be the red flags?
Yeah.
What should we be looking for?
Okay, so bad actors, meaning I'm looking for a financial advisor and I'm going to go interview a couple of them and just see what they're all about and maybe choose one. And the bad actors are the ones that are right away saying, you walk in the double doors, you sit down. Okay, let me see your statements. Okay, we have a stock that's going to be better than the stock. We have a product. We have a fund. This fund will do better than that fund. Within like the first half hour, those conversations do not even happen in the first appointment. You can't have a solution without getting to know you. And so these bad actors will start selling you annuities right away. They're not even getting to know you. They're not going through a process because you might not need an annuity. Or how does the advisor even know if you need a stock? If you have stocks, maybe it's time to get out of stocks. Maybe, you know what I mean? And so you got to be buyer beware, be very careful. And the other thing is if they're not transparent with fees or their review process and the experience for the next 12 months with them. And transparency is really important. And I know you all know that, but transparency with fees, you don't want to open a statement 12 months later and be like, whoa, that's my annual fee. That's what it's accumulated to. Holy cow. So really dialing into what are the fees and is it worth it? There's advisors that are out there that charge 2.5%, way too high. I see 1.95%, way too high. I see 1.65 on average, a lot, way too high. A total portfolio should be less than 1%. Our portfolios, total portfolio, are typically under 1%. And what are you paying for? The transparency part is it just, hey, I'm going to put you in a 60-40 portfolio like Fisher Investments does, and that's it, not giving you Medicare planning, Social Security planning, no income plan, no tax plan.
One trick pony.
One trick pony, and they're charging you 1 to 1.25%. Like, what are you paying for? I need people to really listen up right now because it drives me nuts. Why does Zinnia Wealth do everything? We started from the beginning nearly 20 years ago with Medicare and long-term care and who needed it and why you need it and all these plans, and then building in income plans and the stocks and the mutual funds. And then we got rid of mutual funds and we said we're going to go all index funds and exchange traded funds to save our clients fees. Our goal and initiative is to be able to help every retiree or pre-retiree right before you retire, 5 years before you retire, come up with the income plans, figure out the strategy ahead of time so you know when you can say la vie to your boss when they tick you off, right? And to show you how to spend more money. We've been the voice of reason when it comes to spend more money during your go-go years. Not too many advisors are telling you to do that because every time you spend more, they make less. And that's a true statement. I tell my clients, let's spend, let's spend, let's spend. Don't worry about us. I want you to enjoy your go-go years. I want you to, before ailments kicked in or you can't see anymore, right? Like my poor mom, one of her right side of her eye, she's starting to, I'm so upset. Like she's blurry, right? And I expect that to happen already. And so she might not be able to drive in 2 years. Listen, this stuff happens. And so I want people to spend money. So let me go back to buyer beware and bad actors. When you sit down with somebody, I hope they're not staring at your statement and saying, oh, this is junk. And they're taking that scalpel to your plan in the first 30 minutes. It happens all the time.
Rip and tear, yeah.
I was trained to do that. And I felt so uncomfortable. And that is why I started Zinnia Wealth Management. Because I was like, I'm not going to do business like that. This doesn't even feel normal. I'm not a salesperson. I'm an educator. And I'm going to educate the client. And when you work for these bigger firms, they're like, no, this is how you have to do it. I'm like, no, I'm out of here. This is why I'm going to do this better than you. And I have done it better than them. And so I tell you the story because I was trained the wrong way 20 years ago. And I didn't like the feeling. That wasn't my heart. That wasn't my why. My why was let me help, let me educate, and let's make sure every step of the way in retirement, we can handle every little piece because these little pieces add up to big pieces, making sure the Medicare plan is right? Making sure we're keeping up with inflation and bobbing and weaving and upping our checks, right? Elder planning. I sit with the elder attorneys and you and your families to help build a plan so that you don't erase all these dollars that you've saved just on long-term care needs one day, if and when that's needed. So there's so many moving parts. So if we charge 1% on average or less, well, guess what? You're paying for what you're getting, right? And so I want you to think about that when you're interviewing different advisors. They may sound good, look good, smell good, tall, dark, and handsome. I get it. I've been there. I understand the story. But are they the stock jock? Are they the retirement wealth manager that can offer everything under the sun to you, including the tax plan? So I want you to think about that when you're interviewing advisors and getting ready to retire, because we're not doing a dog and pony show here. We are for real, and we really care about you. And we don't want anybody to run out of money on our watch. And I'm proud of that. And the whole team believes this same way of life and making sure the retiree has a joyful retirement.
Well, in any aspect of your life, whether you're going to have your kitchen remodeled or you're going to buy a car or you're going to do something at the house, you're going to paint the house, whatever like that, how many times do you sit down and have a meeting and get an estimate and somebody sticks a paper in front of you that says sign here? That should not happen on the first meeting. That is not something that is another red flag along with what Charisse is talking about here. So one of the things that we talk about is go and make sure that you interview a number of different financial advisors, retirement planners before you make your decision. And please do include Zinnia Wealth in that particular rotation because we'd love to have the opportunity to talk to you. Give Charisse a call. Let's get this on the calendar for the new year. You've been pushing this off, and now we've turned the page again. And like at the beginning of last year, you said, you know what? Yeah, this year I'll talk to Charisse. And here we are, another year later. Give her a call, 833-368-3680, 833-368-3680, or online, zinniawealth.com. Charisse, we're going to make sure people hang with us in the next half of the show here because you've got a cool interview with Karen and Shannon Cobbs, and they run Grandview Clydesdales, which is a pretty cool place. You've been over there.
I have. We've had coffee. She's a partner of the CEP where I'm on the board, and we've communicated many times, and I was invited out there, and it is so neat, their farm and what they do, and really the show and tell of these beautiful beasts. They're so unique, and it's breathtaking when you get up and close to these Clydesdales. So if you've never been around horses alone, this would be a great start because it's never going to be better than that. I'll be honest with you. So it's going to be a great interview. So stay tuned.
So that is coming up next on Retirement Coffee Talk.
You're working hard every day trying to move up and get better. Whether you're an employee or employer, you're looking for that spark, that mentor to help you to your next level of success. You're invited to the Ocala Leadership Conference Friday, January 30th at Meadowbrook in Ocala. You'll hear in person from some of the top leadership experts and speakers in the country. John Maxwell, Ryan Leake, John Gordon, and more. Learn how some of the most successful CEOs improve their decision-making, how to find, develop, and retain talented employees, and boost morale, leading to more productivity and profitability, and the opportunity to network with them and other leaders in our community. Friday, January 30th at Meadowbrook in Ocala. Tickets are on sale now and going fast. Use the code COFFEETALK and get $100 off your ticket price. Invest in yourself, invest in your future. Go to OcalaLeadershipConference.com.
Welcome once again to Retirement Coffee Talk with Charisse Rivers at Zinnia Wealth. Online, ZinniaWealth.com, ZINNIA Wealth.com. And one of the things that we like to point out on this show is Charisse is not 1-800-financial advisor. Charisse lives right here, and she serves people in North Florida. And that's why we like to kind of spotlight some of the things that are going on right now. And if you found out that the Wall Street Journal and USA Today and NBC said that this was one of the top 10 must-see attractions in Florida, and you don't know anything about it, well, you probably wanted to learn more. That's why we are going to talk to you today about Grandview Clydesdales. And Karen Cobbs and Shannon Cobbs are here. Charisse, tell me a little bit about how you encountered these two and what we're going to do today.
Well, they are partners at the CEP, and I went out to one of their tours and learned all about these magical, iconic, powerful beasts. I was like, this is like another level of horse, because everybody knows I have some horses. I don't pet them much or get on them ever, but I do sell them.
Lawn ornaments.
Yeah, yes. And it was really neat to go out there, because I had no clue at what level that you guys did this amazing experience.
Yes.
And then we spoke, I don't know, a month or so ago. We had coffee and we kind of just talked about all this stuff. And I'm like, you know what? The stuff we talked about, we need to talk about on my show. People need to know about this, because I know a lot of things and what's going on in town, but I didn't know that. So we're going to ask some questions and just kind of dive in so people can get to know you, because you have some really cool events coming up.
Yes.
Like, where did this all start from? Like, is this a family business between both of you?
Yeah, so I'm third generation showing the Clydesdale horse. My husband Shannon is third generation as well. So there's a lot of deep history that goes back generational. Our boys, we have 3 sons. They're the 24th generation that we have documented back to the year 1240 in Scotland, which is home of the Clydesdale. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the Clydesdale picked us, I think.
Yeah. Where did the Clydesdales originate from? Like, what were they really for?
Yeah, so they were originally bred for a war horse. So those were the horses that would carry knights into the battle. And the knights weighed so much with all of their armor. The draft horses were the ones that could withstand all that weight.
Yeah. Well, so this is like your life's work. You knew when you were like 5 years old,
yes,
this is what you were going to do?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
I loved my sports. I loved my horses. And yeah, I just never let it go.
I love it.
Yeah.
They're magical for sure. So I'd like to know, and I think the listeners would too, is what makes the Clydesdales so special? For someone who's never been up close to one, what makes them so different than just a regular horse?
Yeah, so they're literally twice the size of a regular horse. So just the presence of them, the sheer mass of them, they're super gentle for the most part, but it's honestly the beauty of all of their extra, hair on their legs and just the
How long is the hair on their legs? I'm curious.
Well, every horse is different, but
it's not normal. Right?
No, yeah. So, a good haired horse, you'll have the hair will be dragging the ground. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, wow. I don't remember that. Like, I could go out there and braid the leg hairs.
You could.
Okay. See, this is how interesting this is to me.
Yeah.
I hear they're gentle giants.
That's kind of the nickname for them, the gentle giants, but they're not all like that for sure. Especially,
well, you have stubborn donkeys once in a while, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we start training very early. Yep.
And so when people leave your experience, like, what do people say most about it when they leave your tours?
Honestly, we've had such great responses from, horse people that have owned horses their entire life to people that have never even touched a horse before. People get emotional. It's something that we want to bring to the community, that they can honestly have that in horse capital of the world, that they can get right up close to the most famous breed. They're just starstruck by these horses, and that's why we love opening our gates to the general public.
If somebody were to come to your experience and do a tour, whether it's Christmas or after Christmas time, what would they expect? Can you go through that tour with us?
Yeah, so we do the daytime tours at our farm year-round. We do those every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And we have 2 tour times, one at 10 o'clock and one at 1:30. But we go through the true workings of a Clydesdale operation. We're family owned and operated, so it gives a different perspective to people that don't understand the true family concept of farm work anymore. So it kind of brings that back to the light of things. And then our Christmas tours, we actually run those mid-November to mid-January. So we finish up this year, January 8th will be our last Christmas tour.
Oh, wow.
But it's in the evening, so the whole farm is lit and decorated with Christmas. And we go through just this magical night with the Clydesdales.
Who's coming? Like, people are from across the country come to join this experience. So is it more retirees, businesses, groups?
I would honestly say all the above. The farm is really set up to accommodate anybody. So walkers, wheelchairs, scooters, we can accommodate literally anybody, from babies to, I think the oldest we've had is like 102.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Wow, that's amazing. You can cater to all that.
Yeah, because there's seating provided throughout the whole tour aspect, very minimal walking, and everything's in close proximity.
So I want to talk about the commitment people don't see. What do most people not realize about the care and the training and the responsibility that comes with the Clydesdales?
Yeah, I would say from a day-to-day basis, it's a labor of love is what I tell everyone. If you didn't love what we do, you wouldn't do it, because it is so much work. As a family, I feel like all we do is work, but we truly do love it. And if we do not continue it on, it would die off. And a lot of people don't realize the one thing about the Clydesdale horses. We have the most famous breed of horse in the world, but there's not very many of them worldwide. We're very close to being on the endangered species list, which is a big deal because people do not realize that. And so for us, letting people come experience the horse and experience what we have to offer is bringing not just light to that, but also helping the breed get more personalization with each individual person that gets to come and pet them and see them, and just that knowledge of that.
Yeah. How much do they eat?
Yeah, that's a great question. They eat a lot.
Like, are they eating hay?
Yes, they do. So every horse eats, depends on the horse and depends on the age, but like for a fully mature horse, they can eat anywhere from 70 to 100 pounds a piece per day.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so like most of them will eat like 50 to 60 pounds of hay and usually 20 to 30 pounds of grain a piece a day.
A day?
A day, yeah. It's a lot.
Say that again.
Yeah, so every horse on the farm will eat, it depends, but for a mature horse, they're between 70 to 100 pounds a piece per day.
That's impressive. Is this like alfalfa stuff?
Yeah, so a lot of it's
so
like
I know my language a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of it's Timothy alfalfa mix, hay, and then we have our own grain mixture, but it depends on the age, it depends on, every one of them has different requirements. I always tell people in our tour that the good Lord didn't make us all the same, so we have dietary differences, and so do horses, and so some eat way more than others, and we have one horse that when we feed, he gets half what everyone else does, and I look at him and I'm like, I feel your pain, but that's just the way it is, right?
He's on a diet.
He's on a diet, yeah.
Can you feed them carrots? I know it's a weird question. Okay, so you can do, so they're not that sensitive.
Yeah. So we do treats, especially like at our Christmas tours and in our daytime, the VIP, that aspect of our actual tours, that is, they get to feed them their treats at the end of the tour.
Okay,
so that's a big part. Carrots are still their favorites. Some horses really like apples. We have one horse that we just imported not that long ago from England. In England, they feed a lot of bread as treats.
What?
Yeah.
And they can eat that.
Yeah. Well, their bread's different than
as long
our
as it's
bread.
gluten-free.
Yeah, exactly. Their bread's different than ours. But I said that we have one horse. He loves bread. So yeah.
Okay, that's a lot of food.
Yeah,
that's a lot
it
of
is.
food. You need a lot of tours. Oh my goodness. So one conversation that came up when Karen and I were having coffee, the Clydesdales are getting close to being endangered. Preserving the breed is like what you guys, one of your big initiatives. So please tell us about this.
Yeah, so, we do have the most famous breed of horse in the world, and a lot of that is attributed to the promotion of them all over the world, but people do not realize that there's very few of them left worldwide. And it's been a steady decline since the early 1900s, and then with World War I and World War II, it really sped that up. And then what we do is a lot of work, and it's, to put it in perspective of numbers worldwide right now, they're saying there's only 3,000 to 4,000 left worldwide. And so we're trying really hard right now to get hard numbers on that, but it's a problem. And that's one of the reasons why we're trying to help promote the breed to people outside of what we do.
So we need to breed, right?
Correct,
and
yeah.
so, what's the process of that? I don't need to know how they breed, but
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a problem, you think they'd be going breed crazy right now?
I think a lot of it is it's a slow process. And so I tell everyone it's not like, when you have a mare that is pregnant, she's pregnant for 11 months, and then she has a baby girl. That horse is 4 to 5 years away from giving you another baby girl. And so it's not a quick turnaround. And so that's part of the issue, right? Once the numbers start going down, it's tough to get it to come back because it's not a fast process.
The compounding of it
Correct.
too. And then if you have boys.
Yep, that's part of it, right?
I know there's a real name for that.
Yeah, yep.
What do we call them?
Stallions.
Stallions. See, there you go, guys. I'm so fired. Shame on me. My dad had a stallion when I was a kid. Oh, it's fun. Hey, you guys. On Retirement Coffee Talk, we keep it real, and I don't have to know everything about everything because people come in and see me that don't know everything about everything when it comes to financial planning. So this is why we have you here. What role do kids and families play in this mission? Like, what could they do, or what do they need to know?
Yeah, I think I'll touch on the beginning of that and I'll turn it over to Karen. But, for us, getting the youth involved is a big part of saving the breed of horse. Clydesdales have been in my life every day of it. And the same way with Karen, there's never been a day in our life that hasn't had Clydesdales in it. And so for me, to think that my kids might not know what a Clydesdale is mind-blowing. Like, it really is. But we have so many young people that come to our tours now, that they've never touched a horse or they've never been close to, especially a Clydesdale. And for us to offer that's a great thing. And from the grandparents right to the young kids, it's about getting the exposure to that horse. Is what you never know who that next person is that's going to fall in love with the horse and become someone that could help save the breed. And so we actually started a 501c3 that's called the Grandview Global Clydesdale Preservation Foundation. And it is a lot of that is dedicated to maybe helping young people that have a desire to be in the horse world but might not have the financial ability to do it. They can submit resumes and submit applications that get approved to maybe help someone with purchasing a horse or helping with breeding fees and things like that.
There's coloring books here in Marion County. Did the Clydesdale get in the coloring book?
I believe that they did, yes.
Okay.
And I think that we always say that the Clydesdale is the most important horse, is the way I feel. I realize that maybe I'm a little biased, but I said there's nothing better than a Clydesdale. It should be on the front of the coloring book.
Okay. Yeah, so Marion County put a big initiative to do these coloring books for these elementary schools, all elementary schools, about educating about all the horses. So I haven't actually looked in there.
I have
for
not
the Clydesdale,
either.
but it's pretty neat. To the listeners, you have grandbabies, you have kids. This is definitely something that we want to keep in front of the kiddos and a fun experience for families and or companies. So I think this tour is quite outstanding. Well, I really want to hop into your event because you have two crazy, amazing events. These are your 2 events of the year for 2026.
Yeah,
and they're
it's kind of like the Clydesdale Super Bowls of what we do. So we bring all draft horses. So the Percheron breed, the Belgian breed, and the Clydesdales will be competing at the highest level in our industry the last 2 weekends in January. So we do 2 events. The first one is over at the World Equestrian Center in
January 22nd to 24th.
Yes.
I want to slow you down here because I was surprised because I saw pictures and videos. I've not been to one, but I will be this year.
Yes.
I saw like more Clydesdale than your farm can house, and I thought this was all yours. I'm like, where does she put all these horses at the farm? So explain where they're coming from.
Yeah.
For that World Equestrian event.
So our competitors are all over. So like last year we had competitors all the way from England travel with the Belgian breed.
Wow.
But usually it's North America. So Canada, Massachusetts, Vermont, Colorado. They come from all over the place.
Wow.
Yep.
And the competition, everybody gets how many minutes and what are they doing? What are we seeing? Because I know a lot of people are like, what are they talking about?
Yeah. So you are going to see literally the largest horses in the world perform. So I always say the ground literally rumbles as these horses are going past you.
Horse and carriage, right?
Yep. So it's all driving competition. And then we have some riding. You can actually see these horses being ridden as well, which is a real treat. So we go right from the single horse in a cart, right up to the 6-horse hitch championship classes.
Okay.
So very, very unique classes that these horses are getting displayed in.
Got it. The stands were full. I went, wow, this is serious stuff. I'm like, where have I been putting my head in the sand at? And I'm like, my kids would love this.
Yes, honestly, they're just 2 events that you don't want to miss.
Okay, so World Equestrian Center, January 22nd to the 24th.
Yep.
And then you have the Grandview Invitational at the Florida Horse Park, January 29th to the 31st. Is that the same thing?
So it's basically the same type of classes. So you're going to see the same horses in competition for the most part. It's just different venue of where you're going to see it on 2 different weekends. So if you're going to be on a cruise for the first weekend, I've got you for the second, or vice versa.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
So Grandview World Nights at the World Equestrian Center, it is the cushier of the 2 shows. So it's in a climate-controlled arena, stadium seating. So, it's
It won't be snowing, so it'll be nice.
Yeah,
you're at the
that's
Florida
true.
Horse Park. It's a great horse park.
That's
too,
true.
for people to come visit.
Absolutely.
So how do people buy tickets to your tours that you do every day and then to the Grandview Invitational?
Yeah, so there's websites for each one of those individually, but to kind of encapsulate all 3, you can go to grandviewshowtickets.com.
Okay, grandviewshowtickets.com. You can get everything there.
Yes.
Do you ever sell out, or usually just the right amount of people come? You do.
We do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and especially like for Grandview World Nights, it is assigned seating. So you're going to go onto a map and pick the seat that you want to watch the competition in. So there's only so many seats there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, get those tickets. Oh, and I want to do a quick lightning round because I forgot to ask these questions. So how tall is your tallest Clydesdale?
He is literally 20 hands tall. And I do not say that lightly. When somebody tells me that they have a 20-hand horse, I usually say, but this guy is a complete giant.
Yeah, so he is. We've been blessed to have a lot of big horses in our life, but he is a new addition to the farm, and he is the biggest horse I've ever seen.
How much does he weigh?
Right now, he's still gaining. He's not even done growing yet. So right now, he's about 2,300 pounds.
What's your heaviest you've ever had?
Yeah, so we have one at the farm right now. It's almost 2,400 pounds.
Okay,
yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
We're actually...
I would be afraid for them to step on my foot.
Yeah, so the new horse, his name is Maverick, and he's going to be in our tour starting the spring. He's such a beautiful horse to look at, but he is enormous.
Are they aware how big they are?
Some of them are.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. But that's why we start our training so early. Yeah.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for coming in. These horses, these Clydesdales, I don't think we can even call them horses. They're quite magical. And if you've never seen one in person, it is a moment of oh, wow, this is not a horse.
It is. It truly is. Yeah.
bigger than unicorn type of view, right?
Yeah, it is.
So thank you both for trying to preserve and raise money for the foundation. One last thing, how do you raise money for your 501c3 to help preserve the breed?
You know, people contact me like for taking donations, and we set those people up on different needs. So we just have those real conversations with people.
All right. Well,
thank you as well for having us here on the show.
You're so welcome. I wish I had you on sooner. You guys, listen, go to their website, check out the tours, go check out one of these big competitions coming your way in January. I will be at one of them for sure. And you guys are doing great things. And if you guys are looking for places to donate to a 501c3 to get a write-off, and you believe in Clydesdales and this horse world, this could be a great place to donate as well. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
It's been fun.
Okay, so the website overall for Grandview Clydesdales is very simple, grandviewclydesdales.tour. Okay, again, grandviewclydesdales.tour, and you'll see Karen, you'll see Shannon, you'll see the horses, and it's all right there on the website as you can take. I think it looks like a really fun time, and as you said, Charisse, how did I not know about this? And my kids would love this. It looks like a great family event.
It really is, and years to come, it's a great Christmas event to take friends and family when they come into town. And then it's an all-year event, too. So I'm going to take my team. We're going to do like a leadership team building event there next year. And they have a ton of stuff. And the horses, they're just breathtaking. Yeah. Like, it's something that I don't know. I can't even explain it. It's so neat.
As I'm looking at the website and seeing how big these horses are and the conditions that they live in, I mean, you help people retire every day. This looks like the perfect place for a Clydesdale to retire.
It is. It's beautiful. They're spoiled. You hear all that alfalfa they get every day?
Yeah.
Oats.
Eating 100 pounds of food a day, and it looks like they got great conditions. But on the other hand, these aren't retired horses. These are working horses and competition horses. So it's not really retirement for them, is it? There's training and there's work and there's everything involved with these guys.
Yeah, there is. I told Karen, I was like, let me know when they're ready to retire and I'll put a plan together for them. But
I don't think you could do much better than Grandview. I think they're doing pretty good out there.
Well, you know what? It's very regimented and structured. And, it's like our financial plans. It's very regimented and structured. And you have to bob and weave. Like they said, one of them was on a diet, so it doesn't get as much food, and I've had clients have to have a portfolio diet because they're like, hey, I bought this house and I gave this away and we spent this money. I'm like, all right, you guys, this wasn't part of the plan. So now we got to, pull back the reins maybe just for a year or two and, restructure our plan, put the portfolio on a diet. And so you just bob and weave. And that's what makes a strong horse. That's what makes a strong portfolio. And I love how we tied this into retirement somehow, Randy. Good job.
When people bring up horses to me, I mean, my grandparents, I remember when I was like 3 or 4 years old, my grandparents brought me to a place where, they had this little horse thing with, and you ride the horse as a little kid. That horse threw me. That was my first experience. I got bucked. And then later on, I did my radio show on a horse. I got kicked. I got bit. I got stomped. I mean, horses just don't like me, Charisse. I know you love horses and you've done very well with your horses, but I don't know that I'm going to, that's not going to be a retirement thing for me, okay?
No, it's not for everybody, but the tour is for everybody. So next time you come down, we'll have to go down there.
That
it's
sounds
fun.
like a good idea.
Yeah, you and your wife, because you guys need to retire here one day.
Well, there's that. That is off in the future someplace. You're listening to Retirement Coffee Talk with Charisse Rivers at Zinnia Wealth. Online, find us at zinniawealth.com. And as I said at the beginning of this segment, one of the things that we want to point out about Charisse is she's not 1-800 financial advisor, not coming in here from some other city and you do a Zoom meeting or something like that. Charisse lives right here. You're going to see her at the grocery store. You're going to see her at the council meetings. You're going to see her at the PTA meetings. And you're going to see her at the horse farm as well. And we want to make sure that you know that you have a real person that you can sit down and talk to in a real office. So if it is time to do that and talk about your retirement, here's our numbers, 833-368-3680. 833-368-3680. As always, there's the website. That's a great place for you to start. Learn more about Zinnia Wealth and Charisse. ZinniaWealth.com. ZINNIA Wealth.com. There's a gold box there. It says complimentary retirement consultation. If you click on that, you'll be on your way. Charisse, that is all the time that we have on this one. I will give you the last word.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone. Live by design and not by default. And we'll see you here next week.
This has been Retirement Coffee Talk To find out more about how the strategies we discussed on this program can build the retirement you've been wanting, call Zinnia Wealth at 352-368-3680 or visit us online at zinniawealth.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Zinnia Wealth Advisory, LLC, a registered investment advisor. The firm only conducts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded from registration requirements. Registration is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. Insurance products are offered through Zinnia Wealth Management, LLC, Florida license L078655, and Charisse Rivers, Florida license P037744. Zinnia Wealth Advisory, LLC, and Zinnia Wealth Management, LLC are affiliated entities. The information presented is believed to be current. It should not be viewed as personalized investment advice. All expressions of opinion reflect the judgment of the presenter on the date of the podcast and are subject to change. The information presented is not an offer to buy or sell or a solicitation of any offer to buy or sell any of the securities discussed. You should consult with a professional advisor before implementing any of the strategies discussed. Any legal or tax information provided in this podcast is general in nature. Always consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation. Any client experience discussed on this show are unique to that client. Annuity and life insurance guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. If you withdraw money from or surrender your contract within a certain time after investing, the insurance company may assess a surrender charge. Withdrawals may be subject to tax penalties and income taxes. Persons selling annuities or other insurance products receive compensation for these transactions. These commissions are separate and distinct from fees charged for advisory services. Insurance products also contain additional fees and expenses. Social Security rules and regulations are subject to change at any time. Always consult with your local Social Security office before acting upon any information provided herein. References to specific investments should not be construed as being past specific recommendations. The returns for various indices discussed in this podcast do not represent the performance of the firm or any of its advisory clients. Returns do not reflect the impact that advisory fees will have on an investment. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. All investment strategies have potential for profit or loss. Different types of investments involve higher and lower levels of risk. There is no guarantee that a specific investment strategy will be suitable or profitable for an investor's portfolio. Historical performance returns for investment indexes and or categories usually do not deduct transaction and or custodial charges or advisory fees, which would decrease historical performance results. There are no guarantees that a portfolio will match or outperform a specific benchmark. Investments in fixed income products are subject to liquidity risk, market risk, index rate risk, credit risk, inflation risk, purchasing power risk, and taxation risk. Because bond prices fluctuate continually, their yields change constantly.